everything is melting. And I just stopped by OK Tire, and you saw those photos. I didn't want to record inside, but basically oh wow, why was so dark in here? Let me just grab that little pad, because I came to these guys. I said I did my research, and yeah, so this was the factory setup. It was offset in and offset out. So this is the end of the car, this is the front of the car, right? And so I was trying to duplicate that, and I was looking at Super 44 and Super 40, and I'm a big Flowmaster fan, so there's no doubt in my mind that I want to get Flowmaster. Basically, I need to add a bit more restriction to regain torque at low RPM. And so Super 44, you see, I can duplicate this, right, which was like factory, and I can get this offset in, offset out, 3 inch in, 3 inch out. The problem is that this one is 13 inches just the body, and it's 4 inches tall, and it's 9 3/4 wide, you know. And the other one, there was a Super 40. I didn't even look at that one because that one is even longer, another ½ an inch longer, and 5 inches instead of 4 the height, and it's 10 inches wide, and it's less it's not as loud as Super 44. So basically my choice was either Super 44, and I got the part number, so either this one or this one with centered outlet, or see, it should look like this, or Super 10. Super 10 is shorter, it's only 6.5 inches long, but you cannot get them offset in out. You can only get offset like this and center outlet, like for 3 inches. Like 2.5 you can get offset, but 3 inches, like what I want, only 2 options, either this one or center in, center out, right? And I asked these guys to put my car on the hoist and waited a little bit because of course they're busy, they're working, but I know that it's very easy to make a mistake, you know, and order raw mufflers. And as you saw from the pictures, the space where you can see the pipes they welded in, it's very limited. There's a drive shaft over there, there's a wall, there's a floor of the car, you know. And so we looked at the width of the muffler, 9.75. It's too wide, you know. So neither the Super 10 nor the Super 44, and let alone Super 40, which is 10 inches wide, would fit in there. He would have to turn them, you know. But if he turns them, that means that it would affect my ground clearance, and this guy is already low, you know. And the crazy weather continues. Yesterday we had a very bad 20 vehicle accident on the 401 on the freeway. Today everything is melting. Right now it's in the morning we had minus 229 F, now it's 0 or 32 F, and there's so much snow. So tomorrow is going to be pretty bad. And so basically we figured out a way that I need a different muffler, something that lengthwise it's okay, 13 inches, 12 inches would fit, but it needs to be much smaller. And I found the muffler, and I showed the guy the sizes of this new muffler, also from Flowmaster, and he says he can make it work. And I'll just show you in a second. And today's Thursday, so I'm still here, still in Cambridge. Was talking to a bunch of guys about loads, and I'll also show you that in a second, because there were some quite interesting loads, but for one reason or another I did not get them. Well, some of them, they're still waiting for the customer to respond to my quote, to my outrageous quote. No, I'm just kidding. I'm like giving people fair prices, you know, but for some reason it just, as I always say, you know, this time of the year, just a waste of time, you know, like January, February, it's as long as you have enough money in the savings, you should just leave and go to Bahamas, Cuba, Salvador, Costa Rica, I don't know, but away from this place. There's no work and it's very cold. And all you do is just stay at the load board all day and go crazy, you know. Alright, this time I'm on second floor. I like this hotel. It's, you know, very nice. It's not very old. But maybe I should just take the stairs. The second floor. That's only probably 20 steps. I want to show you guys a couple of loads I was working on and show you how I go about. I wanted to show you how I go about booking loads. Sorry. All right. Where's my room? It's like the cheapest hotel right now in Cambridge, Ontario. It's really nice. So like I was saying, the weather. Well, the weather has been really playing tricks on us here. So one day it's minus 20 Celsius, which is what, 5F, and then everything is melting. And so it's warm today, but it's going to be cold again tomorrow. I think it's going to be minus 5 and then minus 9. Yeah, by the way, what happened today is I decided I don't need the premium access to the load board because they kept bugging me with phone calls and emails asking me to upgrade from basic to premium, and I'm like, I already have premium, check your records. And every week I would get 2 or 3 emails, hey, you know, we noticed that you're not on premium, why don't you upgrade and, you know, get 60-second delay removed. And on this load board, that's the big difference. It's like triple the price if you want to see the loads right away. But you know, I thought it was a waste of money, and I was right. I tried it for a couple of months. Basically, my loads are so, you know, so few, right? I don't need to see them like immediately. And plus, you know, depending on the connection, I find that they're not immediate anyway. And you know, if I had a drive-in loads or I was pulling a flatbed, then yeah, I understand. You know, maybe you should really jump on those loads. You know, but especially between Canada and US, it's not that critical. And I just wanted to mention a couple of loads that I was looking at, and it's all the same. And so yeah, so I did a chat, online chat, when I was on the load board, and I said, can you please help me? I want to switch back to basic package because I don't see any advantages. And of course, with these you get with the premium package you get all kinds of premium features, like you can check the credit, which I don't need because I use my factoring company for that. Or you can check load density, you can look at the rates, again, which I don't need. And so I switch back, and the interface is different. So it takes some time to get used to. Like the basic stuff, it's more kind of like old-fashioned interface, like the way everything looks on your screen. But you can still see like everything that just got posted is bright yellow. And you hear that sound, that beep, like you can deactivate it. But basically I have 4 searches going on. One is from all US back to Ontario, and then Ontario, Quebec to anywhere in US and anywhere in Canada. And then I got power only, just in case when there's nothing. I got power only, which means that when they just want my truck. But usually I try to find something. The only reason for me to do, even to waste my time with power only, is when it's heavy, right? If it's like a real heavy load that requires a 4-axle truck like mine. But the majority of these power only is just regular drive-in trailers, and so they don't want to pay anything. It's just super cheap, you know. It's basically designed for poor people. These power only loads, most of them are designed for poor people that cannot afford to have their own trailer. And for example, here I'll just give you a quick example, and the guy posts the price. So he says the weight is 20,000 pounds. That's just the load inside the trailer. So power only from London, Ontario to Winnipeg, Manitoba, which is 1,256 miles, and they're willing to pay you just for your truck. If you hook up to this trailer, they're willing to pay you a whopping $2,200 US. Now to give you an idea, $2 a mile would be 2,500, right? So this is 2,200. So it's like $1.35 a mile. Well, I'm kidding, but anyway, so it's just a waste of time, you know. And plus, when you do power only, most of the time you have to come back empty, because they're, you know, especially for me as a Canadian, right? I cannot do power only inside US. I have to go across the border. So like I said, I only do this when I really see something heavy, like that drum mix I brought from Minnesota. But there were a couple of loads today that were kind of like interesting. Let's see if they're still here, because I'm trying to remember. The make and model of the machine they wanted. Oh, that guy disappeared. First of all, yeah, there was an excavator. There was a big excavator. I think it was a Cat 345. Yeah, Cat 345. And it was posted by direct shipper, you know. And normally that's not a very, actually before I used to say that, you know, I hate brokers, and all truckers say, yeah, we hate brokers, we want to deal with direct shippers. But one thing you learn pretty quick is that if the shipper posts the load by himself or by herself, usually it's very cheap. Why? Because shippers that don't want to use brokers are cheap, you know. So basically, now you don't hate brokers, you hate shippers. And basically, where does it end? So you hate everybody. It's very negative attitude. It's not gonna work. And how you can tell when the guy is not a broker is that when you look at the listing, there's a field there that says MC number, motor carrier number. And a broker in the States must be registered, must have that broker MC, right? And if it's a carrier, it has a carrier MC. Like I'm a carrier, like I'm a trucking company, so I have a carrier MC. But when I looked at that listing, there was nothing there. And I called him, I said, is this your machine? Did you buy it or something? And he said, yeah. And so this guy was sitting in Texas. And let me see here. He was sitting in Texas, no MC number, and I said, so you're paying $450. No, that's not the right machine. Hold on. What was that? Caterpillar. I think it was $445 specs. I'm trying to remember. Now I cannot. 450 is a backhoe loader. 445 is a miner. Some kind of a I cannot find it anyway. So, but anyway, so it was a big excavator, and the weight was 102,000 pounds. And I cannot do that because I don't have a spreader. Like, if I had a neck extension, flip box, and I had the spreader to run as 2+2 or 3+1, then I can do 102. But, and so I looked at the specs, and the specs show that this machine has, of course, a counterweight, and it's 20,000 pounds. And so I called the guy. I said, you know, when I was talking to him, I was the shipper, and when I found out that he pays COD, okay, I can deal with that. But I said, can you just in case, can I give you my phone number and email in case you cannot find anybody to ship it as a whole? Because I can do it if you take off the counterweight. But then, of course, you have to hire, you know, flatbed truck, step deck truck to do it. And the guy says, well, I don't want to hire another truck, but yeah, let me know. So, I mean, I'll keep your number, so I will let you know. And now I see that that load disappeared because it had a posted rate. And oh, and by the way, one funny thing happened is that this guy posted the load and he was reposting every like 15-20 minutes, and I'm sitting there just waiting. Maybe he will change the weight. Actually, wait a second, I still see the same origin and the same destination here, and I see the weight, the same weight, but it's a different company. It's a broker. Yeah, and that's what I saw before. So alongside with this guy, which I know is the actual shipper, right? Alongside with that guy, now I see Landstar, I see another one, and that's how they do it. You know, they have no shame. You know, they just find the load on the load board, and they probably call the guy, say, and just, hey, do you mind if we try to find you a truck as well? Maybe we'll find it cheaper, right? And that guy had the rate posted, right? And it was okay rate, you know, not too good, but not too bad either. A bit on the cheaper side, but it was okay. So if only I could, you know, haul that much. But that all those brokers, they were posting alongside this guy, and now actually that posting disappeared. So I think maybe they persuaded him to not to do it himself because they can find him a cheaper truck. I don't know. But that was one load. Okay, another load was posted from Canada going to US, and it was what was it? It was 740B. And it's still here. And I talked to the lady, and she says, I said, so what's the rate? How much are you paying? Oh, I don't know. Why you don't tell me? And I said, can you please stop playing games? You know, like, I'm so tired of this, because as soon as I give you my rate, you will say, oh, that's too much, you know. I said, I know you know the rate. So and she says, no, I'm not playing games. I've been doing it for 19. So she gives me a whole lecture how she has been doing this for, I don't know, 17 years, 20 years, and she's still learning. But that's what it is. You see this? That's a cat mine truck, and that's what she was trying. And it's pretty tall, like over here, from the bottom to the top of the exhaust. Actually, there's exhaust on the other side. It's like 12.6 or something, you know. But they said you can remove the exhaust from, yeah, over there. See that part? You can remove that top part of the exhaust and make it, I think it becomes like 12 feet tall instead of but it's pretty big machine. It's like a 40-ton mine truck, you know. And I would love to hold that one because, you know, it would be a cool material for a video, right? But I gave her my rate, and she said, okay, I'm gonna communicate this to to her, you know, as often they say, they don't say the name or broker, they say the customer, they say, well, she's at lunch right now. Who is she? But I understand that it's a customer. Well, she's at lunch, you know, I'll send her an email with your rate. And then I kept checking on the load board, and so this lady, and one thing I like about working with Landstar is because you know, each time you deal with a new broker, you have to sign an agreement, and it's, you know, it's like all extra paperwork. Each time, each load, if you deal with, each time you deal with a different broker, each time you have to sign a contract, and then they send you the rate confirmation, then you sign the rate confirmation, right? But with Landstar, because it's all one big company, right, and they have so many agents, I signed the agreement once between me and Landstar, and then if it's a Landstar agent, I just tell them my MC number, and they look me up on their computer and they say, yeah, approved carrier, boom, and all we need to do is just exchange the rate confirmation, right? We agree on a rate, she sends me the rate confirmation, I sign it, send it back, and we're in business. See, so it's much simpler dealing for me as a carrier. So if they had enough loads, I would only deal with them, but unfortunately they don't have enough loads. But those were two interesting loads. So so one was pretty heavy, and I was hoping they would take the counterweight off, and the other one is so yeah, this one is still there, and I talked to her at the end of the day. So I said, so what's happening, like am I picking this up? And she says, well, I don't have an exclusive contract with her. It looks like she's shopping, because I saw another broker post the same load with the same comment that it's the same rock truck, you know. And that's what happens. Like, I guess the shipper is trying to save money, you know. But at least she's using brokers, so that means that she's not too cheap. But that's one thing that you probably learned from today's video, is that dealing with shippers directly, it's not always the best situation, you know. And one thing I wanted to mention is that how I usually go about booking a load, right? So if it's somebody new that I never worked with before, so the first thing I do is before I even call them, I run the MC number in my credit database of my factoring company. For me, it's a free check, right? I just go there, I put in the MC number, and I see the website tells me, are they approved? Do I have to call in to get approval, or are they totally like forbidden to work with, you know, like that they will not, they're on credit watch list or no buy list, something like that, like it's a red. The result sheet is red, means I cannot work with them, or amber means call in, possible to work with, or green, if everything is green, I don't even have to call in and ask, you know. And once I have that, then I call them and start talking about the rate and stuff like that. But of course, before that, before I do all of that, I look at the description of the load to make sure that it will work on my trailer. Like, I don't carry tarps, for example, right? Sometimes they'll say full tarps, so I don't want to do that, and I don't have them anyway. But if it pays a lot of money, then I would go buy tarps just for once, you know, like I don't care, and then throw them away, buy some cheap ones, you know, disposable ones. But I didn't see anything where it was something that paid a lot of money that would justify wasting my time with tarps. But another load, I talked about this on my Facebook page, another load, the rate was okay, like, you know, it was a cheap load, but, you know, kind of like local, not going very far, which would be good. But the weight was 30,000 pounds, right, which is nothing. But my empty weight is 59, pretty much 60,000 pounds, truck and trailer with 4 axles, right? Okay, I can leave the last axle, and then the weight becomes 56, but still 56 plus 30 is 86, so it's over 80, right? So I still need a permit. And so I call them and I say, what is this? What kind of a load is it? Because there's no description. And the guy says, oh, it's all legal. And I like when they say that, because it's not legal on my trailer. It's legal on a, you know, light trailer, a regular truck with 3 axles, not 4 like mine. And they say, oh yeah, it's all legal. It's 2 farm tractors. And I said, wait, so you have 2 farm tractors, 15,000 pounds each? And the guy says, yeah. So that's what it says, 30,000 pounds. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm too heavy. Basically, you can only have one piece in most states and provinces. You're allowed to have one piece if you're over 80,000, because then you can leave the other piece and you're under 80. So basically, governments don't want you to have to be over 80,000 if you can help it, you know. So, and that's why that was another third load I wanted to tell you guys about that did not work for me. But I still have emails everywhere. They're working, they're thinking, you know, maybe one of these days they'll get back to me. Oh, and one thing I did today also, I drove to that plant where I was supposed, today is Thursday, right? I was supposed to load that EnviroSaver, and I just drove there to see if the guy was loading or not, just out of curiosity. But it was 12 o'clock, nothing. Then I came back around 2 o'clock, nothing. I didn't see anybody outside. So either they shipped it real early in the morning, which I doubt, or it was postponed and they're gonna ship it Friday or Saturday. And then of course they're not gonna be there Friday, right? Like that was the whole point why they canceled on me, is because they wanted a guaranteed delivery tomorrow, Friday, in Connecticut, which I told them would not happen. And we're gonna close this exciting blockbuster with a couple of thoughts on mufflers for the car. And by the way, each day somebody comes over to me and says something nice about the car. You know, the other day I went to a movie theater and I come out, and from far away I see that there's a couple of guys are walking around in my car. And then as I come closer, they turn around and they get back towards their truck, and I see the truck is a Dodge Ram. So these guys are our type of people. They're Dodge fans, right? And I turn my head and I say to the guy, I said, nice car, right? And he says, yeah. Is it yours? I said, yeah. He says, oh, I just bought 2016. He says Challenger, like the same. He says, I bought a Scat Pack. I said, yeah, this is a Scat Pack, but Scat Pack can be a 5.7 liter V8, it can be 6.4, right? Mine is the big one, 6.4. But it was cool. The guy says, oh, I like your color, great car. And then today also I was checking my mail at my post office or mail office, and there's a couple of guys in the pickup truck again. In the pickup truck, going through the drive-through at the coffee shop there, and one guy is shouting something at me, and I say, yeah, because I didn't catch what he was saying, but he was pointing at the car or something, and I said, sorry, and he says, Hellcat? Is that a Hellcat? I said, no, 392, not a Hellcat, 392, like 392 cubic inches, because Hellcat is 6.2 liter supercharged, right, or turbo, no, supercharged. But anyway, so it's a different engine, right? And that's all I thought of saying. I said, no, it's not a Hellcat, it's a 392 RT Scat Pack. But anyway, so while I was driving, I was thinking about these mufflers, right? The only muffler from Flowmaster, basically, that can fit in there in that limited space that you saw in the photos was that Pro Series Shorty, which actually I bought before, right? And somehow I'm not, you know, at first I wanted to put them on when I was doing that, but now I'm not so sure because they're still pretty big, you know. They're big and they're quiet, and I already have those racing mufflers in the back, so I'm gonna leave them as resonators, right? And so it's going to be quiet. So those mufflers in the back are going to quiet my exhaust down, so I can, and plus I have active exhaust, right? Which means you saw that valve I showed you guys in one of the previous videos. So it's automatic. It only opens up the full pipe when I'm in sport mode or when I'm just, you know, pushing the throttle into the floor. And so I remembered about these guys. I had them before, and they were a bit loud. This is a Spin Tech, right? It's a very unusual muffler. Not too many of them around, and actually that would be cool because then hold on a second. It would be cool because, you know, everybody has Flowmaster mufflers, but they have this like a different design over here, how they make the exhaust quieter. And so the loudest muffler is called 9000 Super Pro Street. And I remembered about this because this one is very small. It's only 9 inches long, like the body itself, and you can get it as you see, you can get it as an offset. You know, let's say here, if I do 3 inches, you see, inlet I can do side, and then outlet 3 inches, and I can do side opposite. You know, and this would fit very well over there. Even though for such a tiny muffler, only 9 inches, inlet this way, outlet this way, and you can flip them, you know. This would really work, and it's cheaper. It's only $113 US, whereas that Pro Series Shorty, it's more expensive. It's almost 30% more money, I think. And so one is this one, 9000. And I had this on my Dodge Ram 5.7. I remember I got rid of them because they were droning like crazy, you know, at 5.7. But like I said, now I have race mufflers in the back as resonators, and I have the active exhaust. And the other one that's actually lots of people are saying good things about that I never tried myself is Pro Street 6000. So this one is, but you see this one is much longer, 6000, so it's quieter because it has more of these, you know, things that quiet the exhaust inside. So let's see, what's the length of this thing? Super Pro Street 6000 will give you aggressive yet moderate tone. Oh, case size 12, 4 by 6 by 12, 4. So 4 by 6 by 12. Yeah, 6 is this way, right? So 12. So it's already long. Yeah, you see, I'm thinking that's what I should do. I should probably stick with these because I'm pretty sure they're not going to be too loud on my car, but they would give me a very kind of unusual sound because few people use them because they're in California. And yeah, so I think I'm gonna get this 3 side, 3 side opposite, and that's what I can get 2 of these, you know, and this should work. They will definitely fit 9 by 4 by 6 because those big ones that I wanted to put in, the real Flowmasters, you know, those Super 10 and Super 44 and Super 40, the width was 9.75 inches or even 10 inches, right? Whereas these ones are only 6. So this will definitely fit, and they will create a little bit of restriction. So I will gain torque, and I will gain a very unusual sound because in the back I have Flowmaster race mufflers with 3-inch pipes, and here I will have these. And also I double checked with the OK Tire, and they said yeah, they will be able to fit these 3-inch in and 3-inch out mufflers onto my 2 3/4 pipe. They said they can do it. It's possible. So there you go. That's a quick update so about the load situation, about the mufflers. Basically now I'm just trying to find something for Monday, because tomorrow is already Friday, right? Each day there's more and more loads, but then of course Friday usually after lunch it'll all go dead. So So the plan is to start real early tomorrow morning and try to book something for Monday. But you know, my best load, my favorite load is definitely something big and heavy. Those are the loads I like hauling, and I know lots of guys like watching videos about them, and that's what I want to do, you know. I really need to get that spreader and that neck extension, because without it I cannot put 20K on the front. And speaking about the neck extension, the last thing I want to mention is that I didn't hear yet from Fontaine. It was supposed to be ready January, right? And then they told me it's postponed till February, and now it's February 14th, and I didn't hear yet any updates from them. But as soon as I know something, I'll let you guys know. Okay. And there you have it. So that should be my my new muffler. Probably gonna order them when I'll be somewhere in US, and then I can get them shipped to FedEx or UPS somewhere in the US side, and bring them to Canada and get them installed. So thanks for watching. Captain SERGEI.